How do you make your girlfriend cry when you're having sex?
Don't know, done that before.
Phone her up and tell her.
You're watching the Gog Pod. Today I've been joined by my friend Robbie Knox. Robbie, without further ado, we all know you're one of the most interesting people on the internet right now. Tell us about yourself.
Okay, if people don't know who I am, my name's Robbie. I'm 43 years old. I live in the southeast of England currently. I make YouTube videos. I've got a YouTube channel. It's got, I think, around 95,000 subscribers. I stream Football Manager on Twitch. I'm on a podcast called Jack Mate's Happy Hour. Well, I normally am when there's not a lockdown. And I also run a production company on the side sort of thing. But generally, I just sit around my house waiting for the sweet release of death.
Fair game. So if you had a Wikipedia page, what would you want your introductory paragraph to be?
Oh, good. I'm not sure. What do they... Can I look up a random... I'm going to look up a random Wikipedia person now. Let me look up... I'm going to look up Eamon Holmes.
Oh, wow.
I know, yeah. I don't know why. Eamon Holmes, ABE, is a broadcaster and former journalist from Northern Ireland. Okay, so Robbie Knox, no OBE, is a YouTuber, streamer, director, and writer from Britain. And then they're quite descriptive, aren't they? This one says he could do this. He worked on soccer. I'll say he worked on Soccer AM for 7 years and has done loads since. Probably that'll do.
Am I right in saying you were known as Tramp on Soccer AM?
I was. Yeah. I had a beard. It was a time before people had beards. Really, they weren't really a thing. Now there's lots of beards now. Before then I had a beard and sort of quite long hair. I had about here, so I had a sort of homelessy thing about me. So I think that's where that came from. Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't choose it.
I mean, I did see a few clips when I was searching up stuff about you, and you were basically going about in the street asking people random questions. You had quite long hair as well.
Yeah, I was early Max Fosh type thing, I think.
Yeah,
like he does a sort of question. So yeah, I did quite a lot of that on Soccer AM. I did a few characters as well, sort of thing. But yeah, it was fun.
Would you say you pioneered the awkward in public sort of vibe?
I came naturally to me. I think there were other people doing it. I think talking to people in the streets isn't a new idea. I think there were people. I'm trying to think who was at the time. Ian, what's his name? There was a guy who was doing it on TV, who did it on TV a little bit. A few people, but yeah, it's not rocket science to talk to people, but yeah, no. Yeah.
Fair game. What would you say is your favourite moment on Soccer AM?
I know there were things that we got to do that you couldn't buy. Like, do you know what I mean, there were things that just happened. Like for example, I'm a big when I was a kid, I'm like a Liverpool fan. I'm also was a big Oasis fan, and I went to Noel Gallagher's 40th birthday party, and we got to play football at Wembley and stuff like that. So all these things that we were incredibly lucky to be able to do, just fun things. So things like that were probably really good. As a Liverpool fan, we got to go to the Champions League final in Istanbul when Liverpool won the Champions League in 2005. So that was incredible. And things like that were just brilliant.
You can't really put a price on an experience like that, can you?
Yeah, exactly. It was a brilliant job to have in my 20s. I won't want to do it now because it's too long hours, but in my 20s, it was a brilliant job to have.
Yeah, I mean, I got the chance through MITRE, I got the chance to go to the Celtic Rangers League Cup final last season. Got free hospitality. It was absolutely superb. And the view we had was brilliant. We had comfier seats than the journalists.
Hospitality is so great. Before I had any hospitality, I was always like, nah, I'm all about the terracing, man of the people. Don't want all this prawn sandwich nonsense. Then I went to one and go, oh, this is much better. This is loads better than watching football any other way. This is the best. Yeah. I mean, it's not, you're not supposed to say that, but it is much better. Loads better. And you're not supposed to. I don't know what it's like in Scotland because you don't read, but in England you can drink in the executive box bits, but you can't drink in view of the pitch. But the good hospitality people turn a blind eye to filling up a coffee mug with wine. You see a lot of people drinking like coffee. It's wine.
Coffee, yeah.
Cheating.
Wine or gin?
No, I wouldn't do that, but some people did do that. Yeah.
No, it's all about the free bar, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, it is. It is magnificent, and sometimes I get invited to these places or something like that, and some people are used to it because I don't go that much. I've not been that many times to it, but when you do get to it, oh, this is great. But some people just turn up just before kickoff and all that. I'm going, no, I will get there the minute it opens, and I will just smash through the bar, and I will leave when they kick me out at the end. Brilliant.
Like, I'm there this time last Tuesday. Like that's me.
There was a game when we were at Soccer and we got invited to Chelsea. They had these Millennium boxes that were really flash executive boxes. I think they were called that. And like, I think Abramovich had one. Umbro, I think he was the kit sponsor at the time, possibly had one. And whoever the shirt sponsor, Emirates, maybe, I'm not sure, I can't remember who it was. Whoever it was, had a box, but they hadn't managed to flog any of the others because they were so expensive. And we got invited along, I think, to the Umbro one. And I think it might have been the first executive box I'd been in, and it was incredible. It was absolutely brilliant, and it was a great time. But it was a Chelsea West Ham game, and it was, for those who remember, it was a game when Di Canio scored this incredible volley. It was like the game was like 3-3 or something like that. I can't remember what it was. It was an unbelievable goal, and it wasn't on telly. I think it was a Saturday afternoon, and this guy called Trev, who has since worked properly at Soccer, and he was work experienced. He's a huge West Ham fan. He was running young. He was supposed to be about 20 at the time. And I've been texting him updates for the game going, oh, it's 1-1. This has happened like that. And I texted him going, oh my God. And it was just after half time, about 5-10 minutes after half time. And I texted him going, oh my God, Di Canio has scored the most incredible goal. And he phoned me up going, oh my God, is it true? Is that really happening? I went, honestly, it was unreal. And he goes, Knoxy, why is there no noise? And I looked, and this goal had been scored out there, and I was sat with like a canapé and a glass of wine, watching it on the telly, like a few feet away from what was happening. Going, Trev, I'm so sorry, because he's proper like home and away on the terrace. I'm going, I've let you down, Trev, let you down. This is so good. Yeah,
brilliant. So you managed to get an interview with 3-time darts world champion Michael van Gerwen.
Yeah.
Since your meeting with him, have you seen your average visit to the board increase or decrease?
So I did that. That was really weird. Like, it felt like we could... So they got in touch with Tubes, first of all, asking if we wanted to come down to the darts or something like that, or come down to some press things like that. And he went, yeah. And he said, as a joke, he said, any chance I can get a lesson off of Michael van Gerwen? Like, just as a joke to them. And they went, yeah, no problem. Like, what? He said, I'll bring I'll bring Robbie down. I went, yeah, no problem. And I said, see if I can ask Michael van Gerwen about his bin day. And they went, yeah, no problem, all sorted. I was like, what? Really? And it was just like that. And it felt like, I mean, they were such lovely guys, the PDC people. They're so brilliant. And they get it. They know what they're doing. And those guys watch Peter Tubes and my YouTube channels. And when we were there, they went, they go, this is great, isn't it? They went, yeah, he goes, you can have a game at Alexandra Palace if you want. I went, what? And they said, and they let us go and play before on one of the games, just as the doors opened, before the pros came on and everything like that. They let us play at Alexandra Palace on the stage. It was mental. And we're awful. But they had like the proper announcer, I can't remember his name, lovely guy. The proper announcer and all that. So it's just, normally when you hear it, like we just did like 9 darts. So whoever got the highest score in 9 darts, and it was like 65-48 or something. It was awful. But what was so brilliant is when you're doing it, he's still reading out the scores. You're going 4, like 7. He's scored. We're all going for trouble 20. We're getting like 9. Like these numbers you never hear because no one just tries to get 9. Like, I mean, very rare. I mean, they might be trying to make up something like that. But no one's at the start going for this. And obviously the camera, which is filmed it or something. It's on Tubes' YouTube channel. The game. It's so funny. But it did just feel like we could ask anything. I would go like they could ask PC anything. They go, yeah, no problem. They're so brilliant. Such brilliant guys.
If only football was like that. we get so much further in terms of media. It'd be brilliant.
But I remember. Do you remember? You might be. Yeah. Do you remember Steve Nicol, footballer? You probably remember him. He went out. He was at Liverpool, and he went out to manage in America, in MLS. And when I was at Soccer AM, we phoned up the press office and said, "Hi, we're from a TV show in England. Soccer, it's a big TV show in England. There's Steve Nicol's becoming your manager out there, and obviously he's British. We'd really like to interview him on Saturday. Do you think that'd be possible?" And they went, "Yeah, yeah, I'm sure he wouldn't mind. I'll give you his number. Just give him a ring and see if he's up for it." Just gave his mobile number. Can you imagine that? You phone up and say, "Hi, I'm just phoning up. Wonder if you can come to an interview." Go, "Yeah, just ask him. Here you go, his mobile." Like, it was mental. But that's what football sort of used to be like. I think here it's just sort of, it's a different. Sort of
nowadays,
levels.
it's just all corporate, isn't it? Just
it's there's a lot of.
There's a lot more data protection now as well, so it's always a bit more difficult to reach.
Yeah, I'm sure MLS has changed as well. I'm sure. I'd imagine you probably can't just phone up and get the manager's phone number from the press office. I don't know. Maybe you can.
I mean, you can always try LinkedIn as well, I suppose.
Yeah. Just hit him up on MySpace if you get hold of him.
Aye. So I must admit, the first I'd heard of you was when you were making your debut on Jack Mate's Happy Hour podcast, where you told the story about you nearly getting your bollocks taken out.
Yeah.
How did you meet Jack?
So it's a really long story. I'll give you the sort of mid-length version.
Oh, excellent.
Well, actually, it's a long story. It's a short story, but I'll tell you. But the short story is really boring. But as quick as I can get through it, in around, what year would it have been? I don't know, probably about 9 years ago, something like that. Around Christmas time, I had to go to Sainsbury's. I don't know why shopping online for Christmas. I got like a delivery, but I had to go to Sainsbury's to pick up some stuff because I think we've been invited to someone's house for Boxing Day or something. So I had to make a cake. I had to go and get some things, and it was the worst experience ever. Like the queues were unbelievable. Everything was more expensive than usual. There's hardly any vegetables in. What vegetables there were all rubbish quality. Like, there were these disgusting carrots. Like, how do you mess up carrots? I don't get it. And the whole experience, everything about it was horrific. And I left there after like an hour and a half or something like that. I just came for like 5 things again. That was horrendous. There's got to be a better way to shop. And I didn't go to a supermarket for 6 months. I thought, I'm just not going to go. And so I went to independent shops. I was living in London as well, which made it easier than if you live in the countryside. But I thought, I'm just not going to go to the supermarket. I didn't really tell anyone I was doing it, but my wife, who just got annoyed and told me I was an idiot. But we went on, but this just went. So I just did that after 6 months. I thought, okay, I just wrote on Facebook just to my friends. I just wrote a blog post thing. I don't blog, like a feed post thing, just saying, I haven't been to a supermarket for 6 months. These are the 7 things I've learned. And it was stuff like seasonal food, different stuff like that. And then someone I knew who worked for Huffington Post asked me to write a blog for that about it. So I did that. And I got a local newspaper. I was in the Scottish Sun and stuff like that about just like an article all about it. And so loads of things just happened for that. But the Huffington Post, I wrote that blog for them, and then I wrote another blog, and then they phoned me up and said, "We've got this deal with Amoy, this Chinese cooking thing. Do you want to do a Chinese cooking show, some online thing? We need a team of bloggers. Do you fancy doing it? We can pay you." So I went, yeah, fair enough. And I'd only ever written 2 blogs ever. So, but I said, I don't really know if I count a blogger. So it's me and this girl called Victoria, who's lovely, who's a radio producer and a food blogger. And we were a blogger team, and there was a team of comedians, and there was a team of YouTubers, and Jack was part of the team of YouTubers.
I think I remember that.
It's called it's Amoy Feast on the Streets. I think it's online. I think it's still online somewhere, so you can see the first day we met if you so desire. But yeah, it's on there. So I've just had my son coming in the door. I'm just recording, Arts. Okay, I'll say yes for you. Sorry, that's my son Otto asking me to approve a game for him because he has to check for games. I'm just going to approve it.
Sure, it's not 18 plus or anything.
I don't know what it was. I've just clicked on it. It's gone through. So who knows what we've probably Grand Theft Auto. But he yeah. So yes, that was the first time I met him on this streets for the streets thing. And I wasn't doing YouTube or anything really at that point. I was just doing my own production company sort of thing. But he asked me occasionally to be in things or do stuff like little sketches or help out occasionally. And I always said yes because I like hang out with him. I think he's great. And then he started doing the podcast, inviting me on, and just I haven't really left, just stuck around.
Fair game. So was Jack one of your, like, did he sort of inspire you to create YouTube content?
Not really, no. I don't know why I hadn't really thought of doing it, because I was doing like podcasts on my own sort of podcast things on the side, of a parenting one for a bit and one about creativity and stuff. But I never really thought I think in my head, I thought YouTube was for younger people. And the only time I went to YouTube really is if I needed to know how to do something, if I had to fix something, or I'd go, how do I change a plug? I've never changed a plug in my life. That's literally the only example I can think of. But I do stuff like that. And I was talking to a guy called Will Brazier, who's a sports presenter, he does Sporf and Football Daily, things like that sort of thing. He's a really lovely guy, a Birmingham City fan. And we were at Watford's training ground doing something with Troy Deeney, and I was chatting to him, and he said, you should do a YouTube channel. And I was like, well, it's not really, I think I'm probably a bit old for that, to be honest. And he said, no, I don't want to sound rude. He said, but I know what it's like being a 18-year-old starting uni, because every September there's 20,000 blogs about being an 18-year-old starting uni. He goes, I don't really know what it's like being middle-aged, sort of thing. So it's something I could be quite interested in. I thought, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it for 6 months. I'll put out one video a week, and I'll see if I enjoy it after 6 months. And I've just kind of kept going with it. Yeah. And I've had a vague aim to sort of try and make it part of my income in the long term, like 5 to 10 years, but it's gone a lot quicker than I expected it to be honest.
Fair game. So what would you say is an average day in the life of Robbie Knox now compared to pre-COVID?
Okay, I can tell you exactly how almost all my weekdays are now. I will wake up around 6:30 to try and get what I call in 6 to 6:30. I like to try and get in what I call Robbie hour, which is the hour before the kids wake up. And it's a time, it's the only time when no one's asking me to do something or there's no pressure on me. It's the only time, it's the best hour of the day. And sometimes I'll do like empty the dishwasher. I might just sit there. I might play a computer game or something like that. I might read. I don't know what I do. I can do anything because it's Robbie hour and it's entirely up to me what I do. It's brilliant. So I have Robbie hour. Then the kids get up and I make breakfast and do kitchen-y chore stuff. Then I will, around 8 o'clock, I will try and get any emails that I have to do for work done. And then I'll start homeschooling at 9. Homeschool 9 till 12. Try and get as much done as possible. Then in between that, in the kids' breaks, I will cook lunch. And then normally about 12:15, I do my Twitch stream for a couple of hours. And then in this bit afterwards, I will this is a sort of slightly lull period where I'll either do something like this podcast or I will do other work that I have to do or just chill out or something like that, or start drinking depending on how the day's been. That's the general plan for each day. Yeah.
So how do you feel about homeschooling? Because like everyone's got a different opinion on it, but some kids,
it's the worst thing in the world. Yeah. It's the worst thing in the world. Teachers should get £200,000 a year starting salary. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Like when after it's a bit better this time round because the school's been more organised. But the first time round, because it was a surprise, the school they were just like emailing over random things to do. But it took like half an hour to an hour to work out what they were supposed to be doing each day, because you just get these random things go around. Does this document go with this? And it was a mess. So when they started then talking about the schools, so we might have another lockdown and all this, like towards the end of the summer, something like that, or in the autumn, I was like, I'm going to just develop my own COVID vaccine. If they're going to try and make me homeschool again, I will make my own vaccine and I will inject everyone in the country personally rather than have to homeschool my kids anymore. So this time round, it's been a bit better. But I thought, because a lot of my videos are doing stuff around the house, I thought lockdown was going to be my time to shine. First time around, I thought this is, like, obviously COVID is not brilliant, but I thought for me, this is going to be brilliant, because every other YouTuber who makes effort and does good videos has been dragged down to my level. Although this is perfect, but then homeschooling, I didn't have any time to do stuff, and that's why I've started doing the Twitch things, because it's something I can do that literally takes 2 hours a day, or as long as I want it to be. I can fit it in kind of whenever. Whereas the YouTube video thing's a bit harder to do, sort of thing, to find the time for it.
Yeah, because I mean, most YouTubers I know are pretty much perfectionists, and they have to take this amount of time to go and plan and then record and then edit. Whereas streaming is so much easier. Like, you can just do it off the cuff, and it's instant content.
Yeah, and I've got stuff set up now where I've got a sort of camera that stays here, set up, it's plugged in, it's ready to go. So really, it takes me a minute.
Yeah.
However long it takes Football Manager to load up and really to get 5 minutes to get going. So I can literally go over, like, I've got a schedule Monday to Friday, but then at the weekend I'll just, if I've got a bit of downtime, I'll go on for an hour or so. But I can literally just go in and go, okay, there we go, up and running, sort of thing. Yeah, and it's immediate. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. So of course, one thing that piqued my interest recently was your basically Scottish football manager save.
Yeah.
In which you managed Brechin, Dunfermline, and Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Before you took over the hedge, did you have any reservations about Scottish football?
Well, no, because my family are from Glasgow. My family are all. My family. I'm a Scotland fan. I go to most home qualifiers, pre-COVID, obviously, like that sort of thing. I don't go to away ones really, but yeah. So I'm at Hampden Fairly, and I used to have a great routine at Soccer AM where I could finish the show at midday and I could be in my seat at Hampden at 3. Like, there was a flight at 1:10 from Heathrow Airport, so I'd get a taxi booked. I'd leave the studio when it finished, went off air at like 11:57. I'd get in this taxi, get to the airport, go through, get on the flight. 1:10, it would land around 2:15. I would get out in 10 minutes because I just have hand luggage. So I had a bag with me, something like that. I'd get in a taxi by sort of 20 past, 25 past, get close enough to the ground that I could jump out and walk about 1:45 or something like that and be in my seat just as the national anthems were coming on. And I'd do it. And it never went wrong. Never went wrong. There was never a sort of delay.
Until they changed the kickoff times, and instead of it being Saturday, Wednesday, it was then changed to like Friday, Tuesday, and something completely bizarre.
Yeah, but by then I think I left Soccer by the time that happened. I tend to get most of those. And yeah, so I tend to do that. In theory, I'm supposed to be going to the first game of the Euros, this first Scotland game, but I don't know if it's going to happen, obviously, or not. But I've got a ticket for it if it's on.
Because I've actually, I mean, I've not been to many Scotland games in terms of like the whole of the last 2 decades, because I've been growing up and I've only had enough money to go to see Motherwell play, who's my club team.
Yeah.
And I mean, living in Fife, it's hard enough trying to travel through to Motherwell every other week and go to every other game as well. So like, I'm still very new to the Tartan Army. I've got 7 points on my card. I went to San Marino to see Scotland play. We won 2-0. And I mean, the trip was great until the game. And I mean, I've been to a handful of home games. Mainly it's been friendlies recently. But that's great. That means I can ask you some more questions about Scotland later on in the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. The problem I've got is because I don't watch Scottish club football. I don't know who anyone is a lot of the time until they turn up for the international teams. I just genuinely don't know much about a lot of the players. Yeah. But it's. I ended up not going. I don't think I went to any in the qualifying campaign. The first time they had the Nations Cup, I thought, I'm not going to go to the Nations Cup because I don't want to go and watch play Israel and whoever else. I can't be bothered with that. I don't know what is the Nations League, whatever it's called. Is that what it's called? The one that you qualify for. And then we got a playoff place for that. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, like, every time I go to a Scotland game, it's costing me 70 quid, 60, 70 quid for a flight, 30, whatever it is, for a match ticket, hotel and all. It's cost me a few hundred quid to go to every game. I thought, well, we've already got a playoff place. We're not gonna win the group. The best we're gonna get is another playoff place. So there's no real point in me going to any of the qualifiers, something like that. So I ended up not, and we just had a kid as well, so it was harder to do something. So I don't know. So I haven't been to one for a little bit, but generally, generally, and before COVID and all that, I tend to go quite a bit. Yeah, there was one time when they started selling like a season ticket where you could buy all the games and you have the same seat every time. So me and my friend Tony, who I go with, we thought, okay, we'll do this, and it was the worst decision because we had this family behind us that were 3 generations of idiots. And like it was like, when you get, and I never understand it, you get football fans, they're dedicated enough to go to buy a ticket to every game. They'd always leave 5 minutes before the end every time. And it was the qualifying campaign where we scored in the last minute every time. They missed so many goals over the course of it. The one where we scored 2 against England, they would have let. I wasn't at that game because we just had our son Arlo, so I couldn't go to it. I had a ticket, I couldn't go. But they would have left. They'd have missed both free kicks. They'd have missed them both because they always left 5 minutes beforehand. But they do think like the bit where a striker will stand in an offside position and then he'll step back on before the ball's played through and all that.
That's because you can't be offside from a goal kick.
Yeah, but before, even when it's normal play, they'll sort of stand offside, but they'll always move back in.
Yeah.
Before the ball's played, they want to be out of the vision of the striker, and they'll move around that, and they'd be going, "You're offside! You're offside!"
Oh,
he knows he's offside. You think he's literally the best player in the country at playing in this position? You think he doesn't know the offside rule? What are you talking about? And then another time, sorry, I'll stop this rant in a minute.
No, keep going.
Whoever was left back, it might have been Robertson, I can't remember. Whoever was left back picked up the ball on the edge of our penalty area and ran the length of the pitch, beat 2 people, cut inside, shot, and just hit the side netting just by the post. And they went, "Oh, for God's sake." Mate, I've been watching Scotland 20 years. No one's ever done that before. That's the first time I've ever seen anyone do anything that good. And you're moaning. What are you talking about? You go, "Oh, God's sake." It's because he didn't score the best goal ever in Scottish football.
Was that the goal against Cyprus?
It wasn't a goal he missed. It was a miss, but it was like this amazing run. And then he hit the side netting, whoever it was. But they were just like, "Oh, he's missed, for God's sake." Like, no, look what he did before then, sort of thing. They were so annoying. And to the point that I thought it was just me and Tony were getting annoyed by them. But then when they left, one time when they left and their seats were empty before, and then we scored in the last minute, everyone was celebrating, and then the guys next to us started turning around to their seats going, like, sticking their fingers up at where they had been sitting. They're going, "Oh, we're going, "Oh, yeah, annoying you as well." They're going, "Yeah." So yeah, funny.
That's brilliant. I mean, I could feel just the annoyance of their presence just sitting in this seat.
Yeah, and also because quite often when you're at Scotland games, the football's not going brilliantly a lot of the time. So it's that added level. Like if we were out playing somewhere, you probably wouldn't care, but generally you're sort of grinding out. I mean, they've had some absolute misery. I remember taking my friend Andy up to watch. He's English, but I take him to watch the Scotland game, and it was the game against Wales. And it was the coldest I've ever been in my entire life. It was against Wales. I think we had someone sent off after like 6 minutes. So we were up against
Grant Hanley scored, I think.
I can't remember. But then and we lost
2-1, yeah.
Yeah. Or was that the away? There's the one that Bale scored that was the away one.
We lost both games 2-1.
Or was it 2-1 both games? Okay, well, all right, whatever it was, yeah, because I remember, and then we lost relatively late on, sort of thing. Yeah. But I can't remember the details. I mean, and it was just the most miserable. I remember just getting back into Tony's car and just sitting in it for ages, going, that was the worst. That was the worst 2 hours of my life. Absolutely horrific. It was horrendous. Still, I'll come back.
I don't know, like times have been like for the benefit of your no knowledge of club football, Motherwell have just gone and appointed Graham Alexander as the new boss after going. We went like 13 games without a win, and the game we won, like I was starting to appreciate stepovers. That's how bad it was getting. Yeah.
Your level of what is good varies massively, and because I support Liverpool because when I grew up in the 80s, I didn't know where anywhere was, and they were really good. And all my mates.
And a lot of Scottish players played for Liverpool.
Well, they did, yeah. Henderson and
Dalglish.
Yeah, Dalglish. I'm trying to think what era. Yeah, Dalglish, of course.
And
Souness was slightly before my. Actually, no, Souness was. You mean before my time? I just think we probably would have played when I first started watching Liverpool. I'm trying to think. Anyway. But yeah. But then, like my experience with Liverpool, relatively recent. I've had some good times for watching like Champions League finals and now winning the league last season, all this sort of stuff. And then Scotland, it's generally been down there until this year. So yeah, it's nice. There's differences in what I'm expecting each time.
Yeah. So if there was a rule that you could change in football, what would it be?
I'd throw VAR in the sea. I'd burn the factory that makes VAR to the ground. And I would destroy any technology so they could never recreate VAR. I think it's the worst thing in the world. It ruins it genuinely. It makes me like, it got to the point where me and my friends were saying, let's start watching Scottish Premiership because there's no VAR. Like it's like we decided because our mates just moved to Dundee. We said we'll all support Dundee United and we'll do that. And we've not, but we do joke, send messages about when Dundee United win. We go, come on the Arabs. And all that stuff. So we get with that, but I hate it. I think it ruins. It's implemented so badly, and I wasn't for it anyway because I really like injustice in football. There's nothing better than in football when your team scores a really unjust goal and against your rivals, like a massive goal is brilliant. I love mistakes in football. Yeah, sometimes you get stung by it, but it's fantastic. But even then, I thought they'd get it right. But half the time, you're like, that's wrong. Like it's clearly wrong. So they're not always getting it correct. And not just me saying that. It's like pundits who've played the games working. That's not right on the TV. And also, and I think a lot of the game, and they said it was going to be to stop clear and obvious mistakes. And like a clear and obvious mistake isn't measuring carefully to find out if someone's shirt sleeve is an inch offside. You know, that's not clear. If you've got to measure something, if you don't look at it first time and go, that was right, then it's not clear and obvious. Yeah. And so much of football seems to have lost the purpose. The purpose of the offside rule was to stop people from goal hanging and cheating. Yeah. And now it's this technical thing where you're sort of measuring. And handballs, I don't even know what a handball rule is anymore. I've got no understanding.
No. I mean, I, as someone who studied to be a ref at the age of 16, and then instantly thought, no, this is a bad idea. Like, I understand the handball rule, but the thing is, everything's down to the perception of the referee. Like, it's all down to where the referee is seeing things. And, like, for example, Kilmarnock against Celtic the other week there, Celtic won 4-0. I think it was the fourth goal. Edouard was about a foot offside, and I could see it from live play, and the referee never saw it. And like, you always get like marginally okay, you can give it like, right, okay, I can see where he's going wrong there, but half the time you're like, I cry out for VAR because Celtic and Rangers usually get the benefit of the doubt. Then Motherwell got Devante Cole, he got away with one, which I'm absolutely fine with, but he obviously didn't kick the guy hard enough.
Yeah. But the thing is, you don't want it. I'll tell you why. Because it kills the atmosphere as well. Because you'll score a goal, and if there's any possible, if it's been close to being offside, whether or not they are or not, if it's close to being offside, if there's any possible suspicion about it at all, the players don't celebrate, and the fans don't. When there were fans, don't really celebrate because they're all waiting, because you don't want to be off in the corner like that and then them go no goal and everyone going at you. So it just kills the passion. And it's been implemented so badly, and it's the only sport that's messed it up. It works. This thing works in cricket, works in rugby, works in tennis. Okay. I don't know why I hate it.
I've got to the point where like as soon as I got my refereeing badge, like every time Motherwell scored a goal, I would instantly look at the linesman to see where the linesman was positioned. If the linesman was running back to the halfway line, I'm like, right, I can celebrate, but half the time flags up, I'm like, you bastard.
Yeah, but again, that's a brilliant moment in football, isn't it? When someone before VAR, because VAR has stopped the great thing where someone thinks they've scored and you've seen the linesman's flag and you know it's offside and the player doesn't. That's brilliant. When someone's celebrating, you're going, you're offside, you're not dead. That's amazing. And that's getting taken away by VAR. It's that sort of stuff that we're missing out on. Look at this, by the way. Someone sent me. If you can see this. Jim Leishman, football stick of Dunfermline. Someone sent me. He's brilliant, isn't he? So he's my friend Gordon's father-in-law. That's the other Gordon I was talking about. Yeah, my other friend Gordon, besides you.
Funnily enough, when I was at college a couple of years ago, I got to interview him and other Dunfermline legend Roy Barry, who's actually played against Pele in his career. So I managed to get a fantastic interview of them. And in a documentary that I'm putting together right now about Scotland returning to the Euros, I'm getting Jim Leishman on to have a wee chat.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so he's one of the greatest guys I've ever met. Like,
his sound is so lovely. I met him a couple of once or twice, I think. I met him before, but then he did a video message for Dunfermline when we were doing our we reached the playoff final, and so we got I got to the call and said, do you think Jim would fancy this? And he got in touch and he was on the phone to me. Robbie, what do you want me to do? I've got this sword, I've got this champagne and all that. So he was brilliant. He's a brilliant guy. Brilliant guy.
No, but the beauty about Jim is once he started talking, he'll never finish until like it's the end of the night.
Yeah, he's sound. I love him.
And like I loved his wee airplane he did at a Dunfermline game once.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's so brilliant. So iconic, isn't it?
Anyway, moving on. Do you think COVID has changed anything in your life that may stay the same once everything returns to normality?
I think COVID life isn't that different for me. I think I've been lucky in that, obviously I'd like to go to the pub. I'd like to go out and do stuff, but I work from home anyway, most of the time. I'm in my office now. I work from home. I've got a young family. I like hanging around my kids. It's my favorite thing to do. And so I've got a ready-made people to hang around with. It's very different if you're 20 and live on your own or something like that. And I imagine it's a much more miserable time. I mean, not for everyone, but for some people. But so a lot of things have stayed the same. But I think some kind of shopping habits will will change, will stay. I mean, beer, I've started buying sort of craft beer online sort of thing. And that's I think because then you can get like a variety of different breweries. I think that's something I'll keep doing afterwards. The Twitch streaming, as I mentioned earlier, I may or may not have started doing that anyway. So, but that I'll keep doing that. And I think cutting back on things as well. I think so many things we cut out, like the number of kids clubs we used to pay for, and also and suddenly we've got a lot more money. Like when we're both so in work, which is very lucky. We're not paying anywhere near as much money out. I think just cutting back on unnecessary expenses is probably something that hopefully we'll stick with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, same
what
with
about
me,
you?
really. Sorry?
What about you? Have you had any things that will stick?
With me, right? Well, because I was living in Sunderland for about 4 or 5 months up until COVID happened. And I was forced to basically move back home and do the rest of my course from home, which was fine because I was always wanting to sort of develop the second half of my bedroom into a sort of mini studio so I could just sit and record videos just whenever I felt like it, because YouTube's always been a part of what I do. I've been doing it for 7 years now, ever since I was about high and still in school. So I thought it was good. I mean, COVID has treated me better than it has treated a lot of other people, obviously. I think online creators have benefited more than any other sector in terms of people have more patience. People will watch your video for longer. Watch time has gone up. So it's benefited my YouTube channel. It's benefited a lot of people that I know who do YouTube as well. Like some people I know have actually made it their full-time job because of, it's essentially online entertainment. And I mean, it's just the online industry that's really benefited from it, really. But apart from that, I mean, I work 3 days a week at my dad's shop just to help me out with funds, and also doing YouTube until hopefully I maybe one day make a full-time living out of it.
What were you doing in Sunderland? Were you studying? Were you saying?
Yeah,
at the uni?
I did 2 years student radio, and then
Yep.
I did my extension 3rd year at Sunderland Uni for media. So I've got a degree in media now.
I filmed something at Sunderland Uni. This is like a TV studio thing there, isn't there? I filmed a music video for a band called Frankie the Heartstrings.
Right.
That I directed that in that studio.
Wow.
The song's called "Think Yourself Lucky." So there you go. You can Google that. "Think Yourself Lucky," Frankie the Heartstrings. We filmed that there. They love really nice people there.
I mean, yeah, they're really great. And I mean, I think the one other big claim to fame Sunderland Uni has was John Newman once did a set there, and he was completely hungover. He looked absolutely awful, and like they had to private the video because it had like so many hits.
Oh no! Oh good. Well, nice to have a claim to fame in it. That's good.
Yeah. Other than Sunderland till I die.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what would you say is the most valuable memorabilia you've picked up over your life? It could either be a bit of advice or memento.
Oh, I'm trying to think. We've talked about memorabilia on my stream, and I was just looking. I've got in front of me here this Champions League final, Istanbul 2025. That's that's some hospitality thing. I know we like hospitality on this here. I don't know what the most valuable. Valuable in terms of money. I've got absolutely no idea what I've picked up. There's things that I really like. I've got some of my invite to Noel. I said Noel Gallagher's 40th birthday party. I like having that because it's a funny thing to have, sort of thing like that. And like tickets to Istanbul finals like that. I've got the sort of photos of. I've got my shirt from when I played at Wembley and stuff like that. So there's lots of stuff that I like that I own. In terms of advice. That's a good question. I remember someone saying, I was at Sky and I was moaning about things, an editor guy, John there, telling me that, look, if you're not happy at work or something like that, or something's not going well, just think about what things can help you in the future. And not in a sort of cynical way, but think about contacts and things like that. And that sort of thing been quite good. I'm trying to think what great advice I've had in particular. I don't know. What's your best advice that you've had?
So the best advice, I'd probably be like, whenever I upload a video, I always get some people say, "Keep up the good work," which I always appreciate. But I always like it when I send work that I've done to my fellow YouTubers, who'll say, "Right, you need to do this better," or like, for example, I was on Sports Scene on Sunday just past there. I recorded my piece because they do a fan segment. You've got to send in 30 seconds of what you've got to do. And I sent it to a group chat with my mates. I'm like, right, tell me what I've done wrong here. Have I got it? And they were like, yeah, it's all good. I was like, I don't think that's great. That's good enough advice. So I went to my mate CJ Novo 992. There's Rangers content, and I said, "Look, mate, can you have a look at this? Tell me what you think." And he was like, "You seem that you're just happy to be there." And I thought, right, I'll do it again. So I refilmed it, and I was a bit more strong in the voice, and it was a bit more like powerful. There was more oomph behind my voice instead of just being like, "Hey, yeah, well, this happened in the game." But so I showed him that, and he was like, "That's brilliant! Like, that's so much better than the previous one you sent me." So just anytime someone offers me improvement advice, that is what I value the most.
I think what I've learned over the years is that if someone sends me something and said, "I've made this, what do you think?" Before I say anything, I say I try and find out what they're after. Are they after being told that have they finished something and they just want to know it's not shit, basically? Because that's sometimes what people just want, a little bit of that. Or are they wanting me to go through and tell them every part they can improve it? Because there's times when you need both. There's times when people want to go, I just want to get where it's better for someone to put this thing out, whether or not you think it's perfect or not. And they just want to go, you go, yeah, I enjoyed this. This is great. And there's times where people are genuinely going, this is important to me. I want to make sure it's the best possible thing. What would you change? And I think you need to sort of try and work out which one of those it is.
Yeah, because I think the phrase "what do you think" is far too wide and far too open for you to narrow it down to one potentially thing that they're looking for.
Yeah, and I think, is it going to help if you go, I don't think it's very good, or it might. I mean, you can. Yeah. That might just, if it's someone doing uploading their first YouTube video, it's probably better for them to just get going and start. And if you start ripping into it, they're going to lose their confidence and go, well, maybe just I won't bother. Maybe this isn't for me. And they could have had a glorious career. But yeah. So I think finding out sort of what they want and what they're actually useful. And you can just literally ask them that. Say, what do you want here? Do you want me to tell you if it's good or not? Because it is. Or do you want me to go through in detail and rip it to shreds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you showed me, of course, your hospitality pass for the Istanbul final. Yeah. I want to show you this thing that I've got on my desk. It's an artwork signed by James McFadden of his goal in Paris, him striking the ball.
What a goal that was.
Yeah, because I got the honour to actually interview him when I was like 16, and we sat and chatted for a bit, and I got the honour to just sit and ask him some stupid questions, and because my uncle was a team doctor at Motherwell, he got to get a wee bit of artwork signed.
Oh, fantastic! He's a great player. I loved him. Yeah,
he's just brilliant.
Yeah.
So we're now going to go on to Scotland qualifying for the next segment. So, of course, I would like to ask, where were you the moment that Mitrovic had the penalty saved by David Marshall?
I was in my living room downstairs here, watching it on TV, and I was very pleased. Very pleased.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredible. Amazing. Because I thought, what I like, because there used to be sort of rivalry between Scotland and England, but now I've found, after 30 years of misery or whatever like that, it's like pity from like my England supporting friends like that. And so they were getting quite into it because it was like a chance for Scotland to qualify. They were like being really nice and sending messages. Yeah. And what I found really sweet was when they equalised in the last minute or whatever it was of the game of normal time. And they were all like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I was like, oh, it's so sweet that you didn't think this would happen, because this happens every time. Like, it was like, there's no point. I wasn't going, oh, I wasn't thinking, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I was like, oh, yeah, I thought that would probably happen. Yeah, but they were all going, oh my God, it's unbelievable. Going, no, this literally happens every single time. What doesn't happen every time is that we go and win penalties. But yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got a lot of people from England on my Facebook or my Messenger, and they were like, oh, well done, Haggis, you finally made it. I was like, well, yeah, absolutely. And now we've got the chance of beating them on their own turf.
Yeah.
At the Euros, which honestly, if it happens, I'll be the greatest game. Unreal.
I mean, whatever happens, if we get pumped every game, I'm happy that we're there. It's gonna be incredible. Just to see Scotland, it's gonna be brilliant. I don't really care. But yeah, I mean, with England, it's because I support Scotland, but I've grown up in England, and I've spent most of my life here, and England, it's better when England are doing well in the World Cup. There's a nicer atmosphere if England are doing well in the tournament, because everyone gets into it. The pubs are more fun. It's better. So I'm not sort of, I want England to get spanked every game.
I do though.
No, fair enough. But for me, because I want to have a better time with our friends and all that sort of thing, I think I want to do well. There's no way I'd want them to win it. The ideal situation for me would be for England to get to the semi-final and lose to Germany on penalties. That would be the dream.
Yeah.
Every time. Like that'd be a job well done. So I think so yeah, I've got some weird sort of feeling thing. Like I'm not a sort of, my granddad was very much anyone but England sort of thing like that. I'm not fussed. They do. And I think that's partly because it's no longer, it hasn't been for so long that we've been sort of close. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, I mean, even since the Don Hutchison goal in the playoff. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we were pretty much out anyway after getting beat 2-0 at home.
Was that 99? Sort of around them.
It was around that. I mean, that was the year I was born. So
was it?
Yeah. Sorry about making you feel old.
No, that was the year. That was the year I started my first proper job. There we go.
Aye. So Scotland have never made it out of a group before in a major finals. Is 2021 the year?
No, probably not. I wouldn't have thought so. No, I don't know. But I think it's good that we haven't. I think it's, and hear me out. I tell you why. Because for England, they've won the World Cup. So if they get to the semi-finals of the World Cup and lose, it's disappointing. It's like, oh no, we couldn't do it again. We failed, something like that. Because they've had that good thing. I know someone who's a Blackburn fan who said Blackburn winning the league was the worst thing that's ever happened to the club, because it's always like rubbish now. It's like, oh, do you remember that time we won the Premier League? So now it's rubbish. But for us, because we've never got out of a group in a tournament, every time we qualify, this is the joint best Scotland team there's ever been.
Oh yeah,
this team of players now is the joint best Scotland team that's ever happened. No one's done better than this team. Do you know what I mean? So that's it. That's exciting. Like, the possibility of getting out is going to be better than getting out of the group. I mean, it'd be great getting out of the group, but then after that, it's like, oh, we've got to go. We've got to do better next time.
We're the worst team in the world again.
Yeah, so I think it's good that this has happened. I'd like it to happen one time in my life, but I'm in no rush. As long as it happens in the next 40 years or however long I'm going to live.
As long as it happens once.
So it happens once, but even if it doesn't, it's exciting. Like getting to this point is exciting. It's still, there's that excitement, and it is the joint best thing ever to happen to Scottish football.
Like, I can't even believe it was 12 weeks ago that it happened. So
it feels like 6 months ago.
I know. So for anyone that's now announced that they are pregnant, they conceived that baby on that night that Scotland qualified for the Euros.
Fantastic, brilliant. I'd imagine most people would be too drunk by that stage to
absolutely
do that business.
Absolutely. So, what would you say is your best experience in your time on YouTube?
Best experience on YouTube. I don't know. I mean, I love doing happy hour stuff. I think that's really good. I mean, there's things I've done that've been great. I'm really into skiing, and I've done a few videos where I've been skiing, and that's great. But that's more like something I've been doing, and I have then I haven't filmed it into YouTube videos or things. I don't know if that really counts. I think meeting people. I've started doing these walking videos where I go for walks with people. Those. Thank you. And I really enjoy those because I get to meet people, and it's people that are they'd be well within their rights to go, who's this weird older bloke? Do you know what I mean? Like Bambino Becky messaged me. I think it's brilliant, and said, "Oh, we should do." I think you should message about just chatting about something. Says I can't know what it was, and then said we should do a video after that looklockdown. I was going brilliant, and asked to do the walk, and she said yes, but I never would have messaged her because she's, I don't know what, 22 or whatever like that. It's weird for like a 43-year-old bloke randomly just message a 22-year-old go, all right, do you want to do a video? It's embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? It'd be if she doesn't want to do it, it's really awkward. So I don't. But the fact that she sort of asked me, okay, fine. So it's nice. It's nice doing those, and I've met some lovely people that I wouldn't have met before. Max Farsh, Kieran Carlin, Blue Van Man, loads of people whose stuff I really like. And I've got to meet. So I think it's meeting people and doing stuff with people. I think is the best bit.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, if it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't have my core of like YouTube pals that I now have. And actually, like, I've got this photo here on my backboard of we in Scotland. We've got our own charity YouTube team. I don't know if you've come across it at all.
I don't know. I can't see very well.
You may recognise Lewis Buchan in that.
Oh yeah. It's quite quite small, somewhat screen. But he's good, isn't he?
Lewis is class, and I mean, I don't know if you know many others, but so that's us, and basically we've played 2 charity matches, and we've raised nearly £10,000 for Sam H.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. That's really good. Yeah, no, Lewis is. I've never met him, but I've watched his stuff and I did a walk with Cam Kirkham, so sort of connections there.
Because of course he was a Fife lad, just like myself.
Yeah, Dunfermline fan, isn't he?
Yeah. But I think he's very quiet about who he supports. I don't know why, but yeah. So Lewis moving to London, he's all of a sudden become so stylish, and we're like, who are you?
Well, yeah, that's it. Is he going to be allowed back in? Is the question, isn't it? After that,
No, that is the question. No, it's fine, Lewis. If you're watching this, you will be allowed back in. But now it's on to the make or break round of the podcast. This is the final batch of questions, basically off-topic stuff. So you have to make a match day playlist, but can only choose 3 artists. Who's in it?
Okay, so what's the match first of all? Because I can't. It depends. Like I'm going to pick different ones depending on what it is.
What would you say is your go-to favorite type of match then? Is it a Scotland match or is it?
It's international football. I've learned that I am best suited to international football because I just don't have the time to go to every. I don't even have time to watch every game on telly, sort of thing, like of a club game. Like I can't. I'm never going to go to, even if Anfield was around the corner. I'm never going to go to every home game, sort of thing like that, just because I've got other stuff on a lot of the time. Whereas international football, you have like 3 competitive games a year, most years or something. At home, 3 competitive home games. Yeah. No one expects you to go away. I could do 3 games a year. That's fine. That's my level. So yeah, a Scotland game's probably the one. Yeah. So if we're thinking that, then you've got to tailor it to that. We are 100% having, and you've got and a Scotland game's a sing song, a lot of it, isn't it? So you're going to have 500 miles while the Proclaimers in there, because that's always great. Mm-hmm. We're going to have Yes Sir I Can Boogie in there without a doubt. Now that's a gimme. And what else? My favorite Scotland music thing is, I remember the game against France at Hampden. I remember being at that, and it was 0-0 at half time, and whoever was DJing played Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer, because everyone was thinking, whoa, we're halfway there, because we were drawing 0-0 with France at half time. I think that's just brilliant. So maybe we'll chuck that in as well. Why not?
Absolutely fair enough. For me, like, I was gonna, because I always ask this, I was gonna go down a different route, because I thought, well, because I always have the same answer, it would be usually Coldplay, Viola Beach, and usually pick a third out of the sky, probably the Killers for me. But today I'm going with underrated artists, in my opinion. So it'd be the Pigeon Detectives.
Which song?
What?
Which song?
This Is an Emergency is probably my favourite song.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, because
this is an emergency.
Yeah, I think they played that on one of the Soccer AM Goals show once, and I've been listening to it ever since.
Yeah.
I'm also a fan of Sundara Karma. And
what song are we playing?
Happy Family. I quite like.
I'm trying to think which one that is. Hang on, I'm going to remember. I'm going to look at the album and tell which one I love. There's a few I love, actually. They're a great band. I filmed them once. They were brilliant. Sundara Karma. Is it Explore that I love? Explore and Olympia. I love those two.
Yeah, they're both great as well. Yeah. But I'd say Happy Family just beats it.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
And the other one being The War on Drugs.
Okay. Which one? Which song?
I would say, off the top of my head, I have to, because I was literally playing them before I came on here.
Trendy football game this is. I like it. It's going to be a lot of a lot of style.
I would say it's got to be either Holding On or A Notion Between the Waves.
Okay, great. Yeah, brilliant. I approve completely that playlist. I'd be thoroughly enjoying it. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'll send you a link then. I've got a massive playlist of just songs just in that complete genre.
Wonderful.
Anyway, if you can make a 5-a-side team up of players that you've met in person, who'd be in it?
Oh, great question. Okay, who's going to go? Do I have to pick myself in there? Am I in this, or is it other
you don't
teams?
Have to be in it, mate. You can choose pick and choose.
Well, can I be in it? Because I'd rather be in this team than just watch people play. All right, I'm gonna go in goal then. Okay, I will put. Stuff. I'm gonna put. I'll put David Beckham right midfield. I'll put David Beckham in midfield because he's gonna get a good talking point in it. So I met him a couple of times. What a brilliant question. Defend who? I tell you what, I'll pick a weird one. I'm gonna pick Rob Lee in defence just because when we played at Wembley, he was playing centre back for us, and it was unreal. He just retired, and it was unreal playing with someone that's good. Because I play Sunday League football in goal, but having a centre back that good, just the things you do. Like there's and just there's a bit where you'd like the ball was coming back, and he was wondering whether I was going to go for it or not. So he just sort of was like a step over to take time, and then saw I didn't know what I was doing, so he just sort of turned and went off with it, sort of thing. He was just brilliant. So I'll pick Rob Lee just because I know he's going to perform there. Weird team this so far, isn't it? Who else? What other players have I met that would be good? I mean, are we talking now or in their prime?
I mean, it's up to you. You could be in their prime, could be now.
Let's go for Michael Owen. We'll have up front, but we'll have 1998 Michael Owen. I'm
glad because I couldn't have him on commentary.
No. Well, that's it. So I met him. He's and I love the point. And that sort of 1998 World Cup, Michael Owen was unreal.
He was unplayable.
So we'll have him up top. So we got what we got. We got a defender. We've got a midfielder. We've got an attacker. We need one more. Let's go for Kenny Dalglish. Then we'll have him. Kenny Dalglish back in the day. Then we'll have him in midfield as well. Yeah, that's
fair enough. For me, I would have to say probably Conor Ripley in goal. Because I managed to get an interview with him when he was at Motherwell. He's now at Preston. In defence, Stephen McManus. Midfield, I'd drop James McFadden into the sort of free role.
Yeah.
And then me up top with Scott McDonald.
Nice. I met Marcus Rashford once, but he's not getting in. I mean, Michael Owen's getting his shirt, I think. Yeah. I'm trying to think who I've missed out there. God knows, too many of them. Yeah. But that's good. We'll have a game. I fancy my team's chances against yours.
Nah, we've got it.
Haven't it? Yeah, fair play. Prime Kenny Dalglish. Yeah.
James McFadden and Dalglish. I'm gonna get ripped to shreds by saying that, but
yeah. James McFadden is gonna dominate Dalglish and Beckham in the midfield, I'm sure.
Can't wait to bag a hat trick into you.
Brilliant, yeah. I mean, that's definitely our team's weakness, is me in goal.
So picture the scene: you're in the pick and mix aisle of a sweet shop and can only choose 3 sweets. What do you put in your bag?
Okay, cola bottle. Fizz.
What type of cola bottle?
Let me do that. Let me do that last.
Yeah.
Because I want to see what the other ones I go for. Because you got to think about them. I'm gonna have chocolate button type thing. Because I want some chocolate in there. I'm gonna have one of those sour ones with the sort of sugary on top sort of thing, maybe.
Is it sour drops?
No, like a sort of a softer one, but it's got a real sour tang to it. One that's going to make my face contour. I'm going to have one of those. And then because I've picked that one that's got the sugar in it, I'm going to have the non-sugary cola bottle. Just because I want them to complement. Yeah, but I want them to complement each other nicely. So then you've got your chocolates, you've got your cola bottle thing, and you've got your fizzy sour one. Yeah.
Then you've got the home run in the cola bottle.
Yeah, and I don't want a hard one that's going to break my teeth. I don't want that.
No, I know. We've had chats with that before, and it's just like not having any sort of jawbreaker or anything like that.
Yeah, my grandpa is a Rangers season ticket holder. He lived in Partick in Glasgow, and whenever we went up there, he would always have chocolate eclairs, and they're great for so long. and then they just get stuck in your teeth, and it's horrible. So yeah, I think I'm sticking by my decision.
Funny you should say that, because I actually had Brian McClare on for an interview once, and I actually gave him like something similar to chocolate eclairs at the end. It's like, here's a thank you for coming on.
Brian McClare's chocolate eclairs, brilliant. Yeah,
brilliant. So now I've asked you some questions. Do you have anything to ask me?
Yes, I do. I'm going to ask you the following question. Now, what's the biggest animal you think you could beat in a fight?
Goodness me.
Here are the rules. You're in an enclosed area, so the animal has enough room to move around, but can't escape. And you're both naked. The reason for that is not weird. The reason for that is that you can't wear like special boots to stamp its head. If it's a horse, the horse doesn't get horseshoes. You've got to kill this animal. What's the biggest animal you could kill with your bare hands naked?
Bare hands naked. This is the greatest questions I've ever been asked.
Great TV show, that, isn't it? I'd sell the rights to Sky.
Oh yeah, I feel like the Crocodile Hunter.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. I'm not much of a fighter.
Me neither. Doesn't matter.
So, I don't know. I'd probably try to tuck my way out of it. But in terms of size, I don't know, because everything's got their wild side to it, and I'm just absolutely mellow.
But you know what I mean? You could kill a small dog because it doesn't know you're going to kill it. You can pick it up, cut it for a bit, and then smash it on the ground or something like that.
As long as the RSPCB aren't watching this, then that's all right.
Yeah. No one should do this. It's a hypothetical question. It's fine.
Yeah. I'd probably go wood pigeon.
Wood pigeon. You can kill bigger than a wood pigeon. I don't believe that. I don't believe you can.
I mean, they don't have many brain cells anyway. So, you know what? We'll go with. Go with a pig.
Pigs are. What's your tactic there? Pigs are tough. Pigs are massive. I couldn't kill a pig. How are you going to do it?
I don't know.
What's your tactic? You're going to get on its back and strangle it?
Probably just. Like, how do
you're never killing a pig. It's never going to happen. Pig's killing you. Pigs answering his question. If the pig's about going and people going, what's the biggest human you can kill a fight? It's going Gordon. I could kill Gordon
because he can't even answer this question.
Yeah, there you go. No, I think you're going to struggle against a pig. I'd love to see it. I think you're going to struggle.
We'll go a ram then.
A ram. I think sheep is doable. I think a ram's a bit mental. I think you've picked something the same size as sheep, but unnecessarily harder. I think you should just go for the sheep. Forget the ram bit.
Go the sheep.
Don't add the testosterone. I think a sheep you're good. Yeah. I think just getting on it, like just jumping on it. Hopefully you break its legs or something, and if not, just trying to strangle it would be the best approach.
Or just put it on its back and let it struggle.
Can they not get up, sheep?
I don't think they can.
They must be able to get up. Well, so sheep goes to sleep, it can't ever get up again.
Well,
are you thinking turtles? Yeah, but it can roll over, surely. And how are you going to do it? So there's sheep on its back and it's kicking its legs. How are you going to finish it off? You've just got legs flying everywhere now.
No,
you're not killing a sheep. I believed you at first. No, I think you're going down. I think it's best.
What yourself?
I could kill a sheep. I reckon.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd befriend it first of all, try and make it calm, and then I would jump on its back with some force, hoping to cause it a leg injury, and then I'd try and strangle it.
Fair enough. So the final thing I'm going to ask you is to nominate someone.
I don't get any more questions after that one, do I? Oh. No, you're right. I'm joking. No, I haven't got any more. No, I was just joking. I think that was so horrific that you don't want any more.
You're too clever for me. So do you have anyone to nominate on a future podcast?
Who you should get on?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll probably need your help with this as well.
Okay, who would be great? No problem. Do you know who would be great? And I don't know what you're looking for. If you're looking for big names or what, I'd tell you someone who would be brilliant. Who is Scottish. There's a guy called Martin Gritton who's a friend of mine, and he was a lower league footballer. He played for Torquay, Grimsby, Chesterfield, and he did a podcast with me called Football Legends, which was all like telling football stories from footballers' autobiographies and stuff like that. and he is one of the most interesting guys I know. He's got so many brilliant stories honest stories about being a footballer and stuff like that. He's just fantastic. I think he would be brilliant on this.
Excellent.
And I'm more than happy to ask him to do it if you fancy it. He's brilliant. Like, for example, I remember him telling me when he went from Torquay to, where did he go to? Is it Grimsby maybe, or Lincoln? Grimsby, I think. When he was the first time been transferred, like for like 20 grand or something like that. They paid money for him like that, and he was like, "This is amazing. Someone spent money on it." So he phoned up his agent, and go, "So what did the manager say to you? Is he a big fan of the way I played? Did he say how he wants me to slot in the team and all this?" And his agent goes, "I'll be honest with you, Grits." He phoned me up. He said, "Have you got any strikers?" I went, "Yeah, I've got a big one and a little one." He goes, "I'll take the big one." It's like, oh right, so he's not really sort of worked out how this is going to go, and he's got really good insights into what it's really like playing sort of football in sort of League Two. So he's a brilliant guy.
That's just typical. Like I'd even relate that to Scottish football as well, because we're just punt it and see what happens.
Yeah, I love. He played for Keith Alexander and playing proper long ball football. He said in training, if you passed the ball, if you got the ball and you didn't pass it forward, you had to do a lap of the pitch. You couldn't pass it to the side. You couldn't pass it backwards. You had to immediately leather it up the pitch when you got it.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's my type of game. Just long.
Yeah, we go. You can have that for your five-a-side team.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I mean, the five-a-side pitch isn't that great, but we'll see. But anyway, that is it. I've got all my questions have been answered. Thank you very much for coming on today.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. And yeah, guys, so thank you very much for coming on and watching this great podcast with myself and Robbie Knox. And we'll be back very soon with another one. So be sure to keep an eye out. And we'll see you very soon. I've been your host, goggsysaan. I bet it was you. See you later, guys. Take care.